Good afternoon. I am so excited. I am so excited. I am so excited because today I have the wonderful privilege of interviewing a phenomenal, exciting, encouraging, pastoral, and amazing woman by the name of Dr. Irie Lynne Session. I'm telling you, family, this is a conversation you will not want to miss. My name is Dr. Danie, and I have the privilege of being the host of Pouring from a Full Cup. I love this webinar series. And I'm excited to also serve as the Executive Director of Sankofa CPE Center. We offer amazing CPE units online, especially in social justice contexts. And so I welcome you to our event on today. I'm telling you, family, first and foremost, we want to share the word. If you don't mind doing us a favor and clicking that share button located on the bottom of your screen so that everyone can enjoy the wisdom of our amazing guest on today. Share, 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 share. Sharing is caring. Now, let me introduce this amazing woman here with us on today. You have heard of her before. She is no stranger to the community. The Reverend Dr. Irie Lynne Session currently serves as co-pastor of The Gathering, a womanist church located in Dallas, Texas, but they also offer these phenomenal and wonderful online worship experiences that are inclusive and holistic, and most important, provide strong, appropriate, and accurate theological exegesis of the biblical text. I'm so excited about Dr. Irie's presence. If you didn't know, Dr. Irie Lynne Session is also the author of two amazing, phenomenal books. One is entitled Murdered Soul, Resurrected Lives, addressing sexual abuse and sex trafficking for us today through a womanist lens of healing, hope, and wholeness. Also, Dr. Irie Lynne Session is co-author of A Womanist Church, New Ways to Think About How We Do Worship Now in the Face of Various Oppressions That Impact Black Women on Today. Won't you do me a favor and welcome our illustrious Dr. Irie Lynne Session to our show? Show some love, show some love, show some love. We are so excited to have you with us on today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I know that you're a world traveler, and so humbled and honored by your presence here with us on today.
Well,
We're
listen,
going
I am delighted to be here. There's not too much I wouldn't do for you, Dr. Danie.
Thank
So,
you.
I rearrange schedules and things like that. So,
Thank
appreciate
you.
the
Thank you.
invitation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we're going to jump right into conversations today, uh, so that uh, so that we can have as much time to talk as possible. And
Yeah.
please, I want to let you know we have so many people already in the comments section shouting you out. We want to say hey to Reverend Natasha Robinson, who is who is with us. We want to say hey to our sister Sharon Isria. Thank you so much for being here with us on today. Already the comments are lighting up. So first, we want to start this conversation by asking you to sit with this on this conversation of boundaries.
Mhm.
Boundaries, 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 boundaries. We've heard this term several times before, but when you think of boundaries, what's the first thoughts that jump in your mind?
Thank you for that question. I think of a text that many of us are aware of. Maybe some are not, but it's a text, and I want to quote it from two different translations. One is from the NIV. It says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it."
Mm.
And then the Common English Bible translation says, "More than anything, guard your heart. More than anything you guard, protect your mind, for life
Uh,
flows from it." So for me, guard your heart. Boundaries, thinking about this guarding your heart and guarding your mind, boundaries are about protecting our heart, our minds, our essence, our authenticity, our life spark, right? That part of us from which our creativity and our imagination can be maximized, protected from anything that might diminish or destroy it. That is, diminish or destroy the imago Dei, right? The thing, the fact that we are crafted, created in the image of our Creator. So when I first think about boundaries, that's the definition that comes to me.
Thank you. That's powerful. That's powerful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That is powerful. And so, the title of our series
Hmm.
on is so prophetic, elegant, and just hot. Let me say this title: Black Women's Boundaries in 2026. Unless your presence is sweeter than my solitude, miss me. When I first saw that title, I was captivated. When I first saw that title, I said, "Now that is hot, right there." So with that title in mind, when you hear the phrase "unless your presence is sweeter than my solitude, miss me," What does this title stir in your spirit?
Thank you. Actually, I got a little corrective. It's unless your presence is sweeter than my peace, miss me.
Ah, okay.
Right. So what I thought about, and when I think about when I hear that, is if anything you do is going to disrupt, not cause me discomfort, because we can grow from discomfort, right? But if anything you do by being in my life disrupts my peace, my sense of personal alignment, my sense that I am a valued person, in a sense that I am amazing and incredible, right? Anything that you bring into my life that disrupts that, you need to keep it moving, right? You need to keep it moving, whether that is on my job, whether that is in my home, whether that is in an intimate partner relationship, wherever it is, anything that's going to be disruptive to my equilibrium, you need to keep it moving. And I don't need to allow it to take root in my mind, my heart, or my soul.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to Reverend Marissa Penderman. We see you. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate you naming this. And I hear you also naming that boundaries in 2026 is particularly important for Black women today.
Yes.
What are ways in which Black women have historically been conditioned away from having boundaries?
Mm-hmm.
What are ways in which Black women have historically been conditioned away from having boundaries?
Oh, great question. First, I want to say this. I love the work, and you do too, Dr. Danie. We love the work of Nedra Glover Tawwab. She's a licensed clinical social worker, and she talks about boundaries. In fact, she's got a wonderful book called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. And I love that book because she talks about different types of boundaries, right? She talks about physical boundaries, sexual boundaries, intellectual boundaries, emotional boundaries, material boundaries, and time boundaries. And so, to your question about what pulls Black women away from implementing their boundaries are several things, right? One is that we are to be available for the needs of other people as and have priority, and other people's needs have priorities over our own, right? Over our own dreams, our own desires, our own sense of identity, right? To place other people ahead. And you know, scripture is used against us in that way, right? And so we are taught to suffer. And we are taught that suffering, there's sanctification in suffering. You know, we use this theological language around Black women's suffering. And so we have been theologized and we have been socialized to suffer, to subjugate ourselves for the needs and benefit of other people. And so if we even think about setting boundaries around, you know, physical, sexual, intellectual, emotional, material, or time, we feel guilty. We feel like we don't deserve it, that other people deserve it, right? And so it's this guilt, it's the shame of taking care of ourselves. And you know, Dr. Danie, some of us as Black women, we have not even spent the time, because of these reasons, to identify what it is we need and what it is we desire and what we want. And so because we haven't even identified those things, it's easier for us to put ourselves second or third or even last before other people. So I think those are a couple of the reasons, right? How we've been theologized and socialized, and the guilt and shame that accompany us setting boundaries.
Thank you for that. I wanna, since we're on this, since we're on this spark of talking about the church and theology, I want to pivot very quickly to why does God want us to practice boundaries?
I
What's
think
our
that,
theological construct around
yeah,
boundaries?
I think the text that I gave is a wonderful example of the why, right? The text says, guard your heart, guard your mind, for out of it comes everything that you do. Another translation, out of it flow the issues of life. Because boundaries are needed in order for us to self actualize. Boundaries are needed for us to be able to maintain our sense of sameness, our sense of calm, our sense of being able to imagine and create and become the fullest actualized person that we could be, right? And so that just because we're human, but because we have purpose. And not setting boundaries diminishes the possibilities for us fulfilling, living into our divine purpose.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. So now I'm sitting with the the effects now. What happens when Black women ignore their no for too long?
Wow, that's great. Can I before we get to
Come
that,
on.
can I
Go
say
ahead.
something else? Can I
Go ahead. Go ahead.
because I want us to be clear on the purpose of boundaries, right? And what boundaries are and what they are not, right? So the first thing boundaries are for is for us. Boundaries are not for the other person.
Wow. Wow.
Boundaries are for
Wow.
us. And here's the other thing. Your boundaries, my boundaries, aren't everybody's boundaries. So we all don't have the same boundaries. And so we need to be clear of what ours are and what the other person's are, right?
Mhm.
And just accept it. We ain't gotta like it, but we gotta be aware of it, because I may have a boundary around people talking to me a certain way, right?
Mhm.
Because you just can't talk to me any kind of way. You just but other
Right.
people may be more loose with that, right? You hear some. I know there's a difference in many cases between Black parents and white
Uh,
parents, right? And
uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
how white parents, they can white kids, they can cuss to their parents, and they can,
Uh,
my mama don't play that. That's about you want to, but now
yeah. Yeah.
I can't criticize this white mama because that's the relationship they have in their household. But I just don't have
Right.
that in mind, right? So
Right.
boundaries are on my boundaries on everybody's boundaries. And here's another number three. Sometimes we can be boundary violators. Sometimes we
Wow.
can step over another person's boundaries because we don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
haven't made it clear to us, or because that's not my boundary. And so we're projecting things onto other people, right? So we can be boundary violators. So let's not get on our high horse and think we got it all together all the time, right? Communication helps solve that problem. Also, here's another one. Boundaries can't be forced,
Hmm. Hmm.
but they can be enforced.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, here's an example of what I mean. Can I get a little personal just for a
Come
second?
on. Come on.
Okay. So, my second husband was a boundary violator. I'll just
Okay.
I'll just
Okay.
say it like that.
Okay.
He was boundary resistant.
Well, that,
Now, I,
that's
I
very nice of you. That's very
yeah,
nice of you.
yeah. And now I could not control the way he talked to me. Like, I couldn't control that. But what I could do is say, okay, as long as you're going to do that, I'm going to a hotel. I'm not staying in this house.
Okay.
While, you know what I'm saying? So I couldn't
Okay.
control
Okay.
him. I couldn't force him, but I could enforce my boundary. So I have to remove myself from this environment because I can't control you, but I also will not tolerate you talking to me the way you're talking to me.
That's
Right.
that's awesome.
And
That's
then
yeah,
and
that's
then
wonderful.
here's the last one. And this is a really hard one, Dr. Danie. Some people don't care about your boundaries.
They don't. They don't. They don't. You're right. They don't. They don't. They don't.
They don't.
I have
And
been guilty of that myself. If
okay.
I want, if I want to do something with you, I'm gonna say, look, we're about to do this, and that's it. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have been times when I have called Dr. Jamie Edie and I've said, hey, come over here and get something to eat with me. And she'd be like, I'm busy, Danie, I'm working. And I'd be like, no, come on. And I'm outside your house right now. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
exactly.
You're right.
Right.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that. Now, can you tell me that last question again? I'm sorry.
Sorry. For Black women in particular, I so appreciate you highlighting this. And I'm thinking about for Black women in particular, what happens when
Oh,
we ignore our own no for too long?
mm. Wow, that is such a great question. Because what we're doing when we do that, when we ignore what our body is telling us, what our spirit is telling us, each time we do that, it makes it easier to do it the next time. And so we are diminishing our own worth and value. We are communicating to our own selves that we can't trust ourselves, that we can't trust our instincts, we can't trust our gut, right? And so it eats away at our sense of self, our ability to be self compassionate, and our ability to trust our own voice. And we're giving it over to someone else. And so we lose who we are. We lose our identity. We lose our ability um, to be ourselves, our truest and most authentic selves. I think
Mm,
that's a danger. It's self deception.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm. You are saying so many powerful words. I just want to highlight the words for a second. A second.
Okay. Okay.
Self-deception,
Mm-hmm.
self-deception, boundary adverse, right? Those words are really powerful. No, thank
Yeah.
you. All
Yeah.
right, so now can I shift now? Let's talk about something even more harder or difficult. I'm sitting with this idea of even when I try to set boundaries, I feel guilty. I feel
Mm-hmm.
guilty. I feel guilty,
Yeah.
even though my head says important to set boundaries, right? And even though my
Yeah.
head says, yes, it's important to do this, my heart says, well, now how is this person going to make it if you didn't honor this request or say yes to this request? How are they going to handle this situation? And now I feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm resting, I'm centering myself. I don't want to be self-depleted, as you say, but now I'm wrestling with guilt. Like,
Mm-hmm.
talk
Mm-hmm.
on it. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I
Mm-hmm.
sit now with questions that say, you could have did that. That would have took you just 10 minutes to do that. Or that would have took you 20, 30 minutes just to do that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say to us who have to now sit with feelings of guilt? How do we resist internalizing feelings of guilt when we
Yeah.
set boundaries?
Yeah. Setting boundaries, I believe, is a spiritual practice that must be cultivated,
Mm, mm,
particularly for Black women who are not used to doing that.
mm.
To Black women who have the historical burden of being everything to everybody, right?
Yeah.
The Black women who are impacted by the strong Black woman trope, right? That says we can
Mm,
handle it, right? That there's not too much emotional labor, right? Um, and so it's a spiritual practice that must be cultivated. And one of the best ways to cultivate the spiritual practice of boundary setting is to be in community with other people who are more practiced at setting boundaries, right?
Okay.
To be in community, to be able to be open and sharing with another sister. Like, I'll call you out and I'll say, listen, Dr. Jamie, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this boundary of what did I said, time, this boundary of time, this boundary of material, right? This boundary of
Mm.
financial remuneration, right? That this is my fee for my consulting services, but I am afraid to ask for it because I don't know how they're going to think about me after I tell them that I charge $3,000 for a webinar or whatever it is, right?
Ah,
So I need to call you up, Dr. And I need to be vulnerable with
uh-huh.
somebody who I know has more strength in that area and is going to help me, walk me, talk me through this, right? So community is so very important. And to be able to have somebody or somebodies in your world that you feel comfortable enough and open enough to tell the truth about your struggle. And that is one thing that can help. The other thing that can help for us is to really do work on, what we really believe about ourselves, right?
Ah,
To do that
yeah,
inner work of,
yeah, yeah,
who
yeah,
who who taught you, who told you you weren't good enough, who told you you weren't
yeah,
worthy of saying no.
yeah,
When was the first time you heard that message? When was the first time you got that message? And how can we modify, adjust, how can we get rid of that internal terrorist that's telling you these lies about your own worth? Because a lot of it, Dr. Danie, is tied to how we think and feel, how we truthfully think and feel about ourselves, right? So those are a couple of things, couple of strategies. And listen, in my own life, I've had to do all those things. I've had to learn
yeah.
how to set boundaries around these areas to protect myself, to guard my heart, right? To stay true to the woman that I want to become and the woman that I am becoming. And it has required me to do inner work on myself, often with a therapist or a spiritual director. Also, having a community of badass sisters who I can trust, you being one of them, who I can
Thank you.
trust to tell me the truth and to point me in the direction of who I really am, right? And so that has been
Yeah.
helpful for me.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. I'm telling you, you said a lot of words right here that are sticking with me. Internal terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
Internal terrorists. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let me also say what I also hear you saying is there's an unlearning we have to do. There's an unlearning
Yes.
we
Yes.
engage in. It's making me think about I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna say her name. There was someone who wrote this book believing that in life we become. And I'm sitting with the ways in which I've often been critical of this concept. We don't become, we unbecome from all of
Yes.
these messages that have
Yes.
been inundated in our psyche, in our minds, in our bodies, in our spirits. And so I believe that life is really about unbecoming. And
Yes.
I'm hearing talk about we have to do some unlearning in,
Yes.
in setting boundaries. And so I'm sitting with one unlearning that I've also struggled with is justifying my no.
Mm.
When somebody asks me something and I have to say no to it because I'm trying to honor boundaries and and participate in self-preservation, right? I then move into when I say no. might start trying to explain my no, or I might say, no, I can't do that. I'm so sorry. I
I'm
have to
so
do
sorry.
this instead. Right? I usually follow my no up with the I'm sorry. How
Mm-hmm.
do I how do I and others unlearn how to say no without apologizing?
Yes. I appreciate that question. And let me say this. I am all in to what you said about unbecoming, because I agree 100% with
Uh,
that concept. Much of our lives is about undoing the damage that has been done, right, to cause us to think certain ways about ourselves that are self-defeating. So I'm all with that. And a part of, to me, unbecoming is then, okay, so then what am I moving towards? So I'm getting rid of
mm,
all of this stuff. What am I? So maybe it's about reclaiming. Hello, Dr. Jamie. Maybe it's about remembering, right?
mm,
Remembering who we always were intended to be,
ah,
right? So I like that.
ah.
Thank you, thank you. Um, you know, there's so much work that each of us, many of us, many of us have to do on the inside, to unbecome and to have strength in our no, and to have the power to say no unapologetically without any caveats. And like everything I've been saying, Dr. Danie, it takes practice. You got to be
Mhm.
intentional. We must, if we want to develop strength in our no, right, and we want to be able to say no unapologetically and without feeling like we got to give an explanation for it, it takes practice. It takes doing the hard thing, no matter how uncomfortable it may feel, right? Because I remember earlier I talked about being uncomfortable. That's not the problem. Anytime we do something different, even if it's for our good, if we're not used to doing that, there's going to be a level of discomfort. And so, Dr. Melva Sampson always talks about doing it scared or doing it afraid, or I'm saying doing it with uncomfortability, doing it
Ah,
anyway, making up your mind that we're going to do it anyway because it's in our best self interest. And it's in the best self interest of, if we have children, for our children to be able to see us saying no. Now, I want to say another thing, and here's another moment of transparency. So, I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse.
oh,
The experiences that I had with sexual abuse, the perpetrator did not ask me, did I mind if he touched me here, if he put it there, if I wasn't
oh,
asked. So I never had the opportunity to say no. And so what happened to me, and I think what may happen to a lot of other people, is that because at a crucial time you weren't even allowed to say no, then we grow believing we don't have a right to say no. If we can't say no to the most precious part of ourselves, that is our body, right? If we can't say no to that, maybe I don't have a right to say no. And so we believe that message, that becomes a tape, that becomes another vehicle of that internal terrorist. You don't have a right to say no. So if you, in your gut, you don't think you have a right to say no, and then you do say no, of course you're going to feel guilty because you don't believe in your heart of hearts that you had that right.
wow,
So some of it
wow.
has to do with, when was and I love this question to ask the people, when was the first time, right? When was the first time you remember feeling like you couldn't say no,
Mm,
right? And then dealing with that, and then telling the truth around
wow.
that, right? And that's some of the work I had to do in my own life, right? And so I wanted to say those two things, right? That there's sometimes a pathology around why we don't feel like we can say no, and we feel, and why we have to justify it and explain to people why we said no,
Oh,
other than F you, no,
right, right,
you know.
right. That's powerful. I never thought about that in terms of a pathology. And this
Hmm.
this question you invite us to ask, when was the first time you felt like
Hmm.
you had a right to say no? And then you said, when is the first time you realized you couldn't embrace your right to say no?
Right,
That's
right,
really powerful. That
right.
is really powerful. That is really
Yeah.
powerful. Thank you. Thank
And
you
it
for
helps to
naming.
be, it also helps to be in community when you're asking yourself that question, because that can be traumatic.
Yes,
When you're
yes.
realizing that, I remember one time, Dr. Danie, I was sitting in a seminary class, and my professor, Black womanist ethicist, asked a question to, it was primarily women in the class. She asked the question, when was the first time you realized or remembered that being a woman was a problem? And
Ah,
and that
ah,
question went straight to,
ah,
I sat
ah.
in class and I cried because my mind went all these places, right? And so sometimes it helps to be in community when we're asking those kinds of questions.
When was
That's just-
you dropping so many gold nuggets? I can't keep up. All right. When
that's
was the
okay.
first time you
Yeah,
realized being a
being a
woman was a
woman was a
problem?
problem.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. Wow. Thank you for this conversation. We have a few more questions, and we're going to ask those who are joining us on Facebook Live, drop your questions in the comments, and we're going to highlight those. Reverend Natasha Robinson, she's
What
going to
is
kill
she doing?
uh,
What is she doing?
she's saying she has a word of affirmation and a huge thank you for saying you all don't know how timely this conversation is. For
Wow.
thank you for heeding to spirit.
Mm,
And Reverend Marissa Penderman says, people are always going to negotiate your no because they want what they want. We have to make no as holy as our yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. So I'm sitting with a question in 2026. What's one boundary, Dr. Irie, that you say all Black women need to practice or set for this year? What's
that's
one boundary that we should all practice or set this year in 2026 specifically?
Yeah, one, I would encourage Black women to set a boundary on what we take in, right?
Ah,
What the information that we take in, whether it be on social media, whether it be on watching the news, right? That we set a boundary on that we set a boundary on how much um, information we take in, because it can be very discouraging and very downhearted, right? So that's one boundary. Um, my co-pastor, Dr. Camila Hall Sharp. Now, I'm not saying everybody to do this, but one of the things she did last year, she set a boundary on her engagement with social media. Right, she made a
oh,
decision that she was going to stay off social media for an entire year,
wow.
and she did. And just the ways that I have seen and that she has shared, that impacted her ministry, her life, her goals. So yeah, I would say set a boundary around the information that we take in.
That's oh wow. And there's so much information that's not accurate, not true.
That's right.
Especially under our current political administration, that is so important for us not to take in. I so appreciate you naming that. That's huge.
Absolutely. Because
I so appreciate you naming that.
what what do they call it? They call it secondary trauma.
Yes, yes,
Secondary trauma,
yes.
right? That, listen, it's hard as hell for us as Black women in this world.
That's
There's
right.
so many. I mean, we deal with microaggressions every day. We deal with, our beauty being marginalized, and we are not, we are not the standard for beauty. We deal with, you a size 16, you too big, all of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
mess, all of this stuff that we have to deal with, just by
You
being
can
here.
say you can say shit. It's okay.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. It's
And
fine.
so it's important that we guard our minds, that we guard our hearts, even some of the music that we listen to. What's it saying about? I mean, and I love all kinds, please,
Mhm.
because sometimes I'll be driving in my car and I'm like, if somebody heard me in here, they would not believe I was a pastor, but that's okay.
Right, right,
I
right,
like what
right,
I like, right?
right, right, right.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, what we take in, what we put in, allowed to enter into our minds and our hearts.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm sitting now this is let's uh let's go deeper with this conversation. I'm also sitting with um as a as a clergy person, as a clergy person, I sometimes and I know I'm not the only one, but I'll use an I statement in these moments.
Okay.
I wrestle with sometimes. I grew up in church hearing, to whom much is given, much is required. I grew up hearing that. I grew up hearing my mission should be Luke chapter 4, verses
Mm,
16 to 21, where
mm-hmm,
if you
mm-hmm,
profess to be a Christian, Jesus' mission was to do the work of justice in the world,
mm-hmm,
proclaim
mm-hmm,
liberation, help those who are blind, help those who are poor, help those who are incarcerated. And so I'm wrestling with feeling like I don't want to be a Republican. I don't want to participate in white supremacy thinking, which says persons who are from marginalized communities should pull themselves up by their bootstraps, right? I don't believe in that ideology. I do believe that it is my role to help those in need. And so I struggle with this tension between helping those in need who have less than me, no matter who they are, personal or professional, folks in my life, helping people who call on me, who need help, and saying no in these circumstances versus the tension of not wanting to embrace an ideology that says, no, you're supposed to help yourself. You need to figure it out. I'm like, but how do I practice boundaries and say no to persons who don't have maybe as much as I have, but then I'm still called to practice boundaries and set boundaries. But
mm-hmm.
I don't want particular persons to also feel like I'm not doing the work of justice. Does all that make sense? Or
It all makes sense. And if I was talking to just you and me offline, I would use a particular word, and it would start with an F, and it would the second word would say them, right? And that is whoever you are thinking that you got to please, um,
uh,
with your
uh,
whoever you are thinking that would be disappointed if they knew that you didn't help, whatever. Yes, we are called to purpose. We all have a purpose, something that we're uniquely called, crafted, and created to do and be in this life, right? But Dr. Danie, we wasn't called to do it all. We weren't called to
that's
help
true.
every single person with every single situation. Jesus didn't even do that.
I hear
Do
that.
you remember? Do you remember the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000, right? And
Yes, yes.
what did Jesus tell? Jesus told them, "You feed them. You take care of it." Jesus
Uh,
multiplied the food, but Jesus wasn't doing the hand delivering.
wow.
The other people did
Okay.
that. And so community is important. It's not, who do you think you are that you the one to do every damn thing?
I'm big dog.
Yeah, you might be big dog in this area, but you ain't big dog in every area.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
You
That's true. That's
get
true.
off your high horse and to thinking
That's right.
you are the only one who's equipped to do everything, right?
That's right.
Even Jesus took time away to rest, and he got frustrated with his boys who wanted to interrupt his rest.
That's true.
You mean,
That's true.
who when he was resting or he wanted to rest, them Negroes fell asleep. Wait a minute, I'm doing all this work for all the people, and y'all,
Yes.
y'all
Yes.
gonna go to sleep on a brother? What?
Listen.
What's your part? And so
That's good.
when we do that, we
That's
take
good.
away the opportunity for other people. The Bible says that Paul planted the church, Apollos watered the people, God
That's
gave
right.
the increase. Everybody was doing something.
Everybody was doing something.
Paul didn't do it all. Apollos didn't do it, and God don't do it all. So if God don't do it all, why I feel like I got to?
Wow. Wow.
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
We think we have
That's
to because it makes us feel a certain way about ourselves, that people need us and that people can't do it without us. Okay, so what's that about?
Now you're getting in my business. Don't be
What
getting in my business now.
what is it about you that you feel like you got to be the deliverer? You got to be the one who makes everything happen, right? What's the internal work you got to do to like spread this good stuff around and give
Because
other
I want to
people?
because I want to be Superman. I want to be
Yeah,
Superman.
yeah. You are a Superman, but you're not Superman, right? I am a Superwoman. Don't get it twisted, but I'm not Superwoman.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Conversation is over now. We are done. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. No, I'm just no, great.
You
No,
know,
this is
that makes sense, Dr. Danie.
it does. It does. No, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your wisdom. That's very, very helpful. Thank you for your wisdom.
And it
Hey,
takes us
fam.
a minute.
I'm sorry.
It takes us a minute sometimes to get there, Dr. Danie. It really does.
Yeah.
But it takes conversations like this that you are making public for people to hear, right? And I don't know who's on this call, but people, this Zoom, but people are going to come back and they're going to watch this at some point, and it may be helpful. It may, they may hear just, oh wow, okay, that's what I was doing. Oh, okay. So I don't have to do that no more. So here's how I can stop. You know what I'm saying? This helps people. This is medicine. This is medicine for the people, Dr. Danie. So I really appreciate all these conversations that you're having. This is a tool. This is a tool that people can use to unbecome. Right? This is a tool that people can use to learn how to set boundaries and to have that boundary. Listen, if you're not bringing something positive, if you're not bringing something beautiful into my life, if all you're going to do is detract, miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. No, thank you. Thank you for this. Hey, we got some conversations happening in the comments section. Dr. Ebony Only.
Oh, my girl. Hey, Dr. Ebony. I love her.
Me too. Me too. Dr. Ebony Only says, even God rested, not because God necessarily needed to, but to set the rhythm. Wow.
I love it.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
it.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so we're going to, I want to say thank you so much for this conversation. Guess what, family? Dr. Irie Lynn's session is going to be teaching a phenomenal, timely workshop at our Sankofa CPE Clergy and Chaplains Wellness Conference happening this April in Chicago, April 21st to the 24th. And I'm telling you, I'm going to sit in on that workshop myself. to get some learning. Hey, family, we want to let you know now's the time to register. Now's the time to book your hotel, blackchaplainsrock.com. Tell us about your workshop at the conference this April.
Yes, I'm so excited about it. So we will focus on two I guess aspects of boundaries. One is clergy boundaries, right? So for all of us who are in ministry, whether you're a pastor, whether you preach, or you don't have to be a pastor, right, to be clergy. So we're going to talk about clergy boundaries in that way, and then we're also going to talk about we're going to flesh out more of what we were talking about today, right? Black women's boundaries. And I want to say this for those who participate in the class, in the course that we're having, you will get a certificate of completion, because I know some denominations require, I know my denomination requires that we take boundary training. So you will receive a certificate. Dr. Danie, let me tell you something else I've got for them. Everybody who comes in my class, I have used AI to create what I call a boundary script generator. A boundary
Oh,
script generator, right? So
awesome.
what that is, it is online, and you will be able to go to the boundary script generator. You'll be able to put in a situation, describe a situation that you're dealing with. Let's say my daughter keeps wanting me to pay her rent. Now that's not true, but I'm just making up a situation. You put that in there, and then you'll click a button that says generate my boundary script. So it'll give you some
Wow.
options on ways that you can respond, because I know sometimes it's hard for people who are not used to setting boundaries, right? So everybody who enrolls in that class, you'll get access to that.
That is dope. A boundary script generator. Now that's hot. That is dope.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm gonna sit in on the class. I'm gonna register enroll in that class. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. That is excellent. Hey, Reverend Dave Tony. Hey, Reverend Dave Tony.
Hello, everybody.
We're so excited about your presence with us. Thank you. What else are you looking forward to with our conference?
Well, I'm looking forward to all of the other workshops, because you've got so many, and one of the things, I think I told you this before, that I'm so excited about this conference, because it is addressing the real needs of chaplains, of clergy, of ministers, right? Of people who are givers, right? Of people who are serving the community. It's not just a preaching conference, shall I say, right? It's not just where we, show off the best and the brightest preachers, and it ain't about that. It is about the healing of our communities, and those who are leading in our communities. You're doing something for us that we really, really need, because a lot of the challenges that that we as ministers have, that we as clergy, whether we're chaplains or whatever we are, is because we tend to everybody else, but nobody's tending to us. We pour out, which is why I love this, pouring from a full cup. This conference is helping us to have a full cup.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so the whole thing about it, your thesis of why you're even doing this is revolutionary, I think, and it is so needed, particularly in this time that we living in.
Thank you. No, I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. You're right.
you
We
should
don't,
be. You should be.
we don't need no more preaching conferences. We need some healing, clergy healing spaces. And so
Yeah,
I am humbled and honored by by your yes to be present, and I'm so excited about all the wonderful wisdom and insight that you're going to impart to the people. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so appreciative.
thank you.
Hey, family, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on today. Do me a favor, share, share, share. Share this video. Dr. Irie last session gave us so many golden nuggets, and we want to get the word out. And so sharing is caring. Please, please engage in let's see, digital healing, digital evangelism, digital liberation by simply clicking this share button at the bottom of your screen and make plans to join us. Make plans to join us April 21st to the 24th in Chicago. April 21st to the 24th in Chicago. We would love to see you there. I am so excited. We have so many people signed up and registered, and so there's a wonderful time that will be had. Feel
Yes.
free to share and tell a friend. Thank you. Final
Okay.
words from you. Final words from you, Dr. Irie. Final word.
Well, I would just say, you know, take inventory of your life. We're like, we need to have regular self assessments of our personal and our professional boundaries, right? And pay attention to our bodies, particularly for Black women. Pay attention to our bodies because what is that book? The Body Keeps the Score.
That's
That
right.
is the truth. Our bodies tell us when we are not setting appropriate boundaries. And so we have to learn, if we want to set boundaries, we must learn to pay attention to our bodies and do what our bodies are signaling that we need to do. And sometimes that best happens when we are in community, when we have relationships with people that we can trust, that we can tell the truth about, what we're feeling, what we're thinking, because there's so much value. Black women bring so much to this world that we need to be the best that we can be. And being the best we can be involves setting boundaries. It involves the boundary around time, around setting a rest, right? Around being able to be confident, asking for what we know we need and what we believe we deserve, right? And so all of those things are important for our emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual well being, right? So those are my final words. Thank you, Dr. Danie, for this
Thank you.
beautiful
Thank you.
experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.